We've been hearing a lot about it, and we want an update on it, so of course we go to the experts on it. James May is here, Regional Press Director for PennDOT, talking about Real ID. So I know there's been an extension allowing people more time to get it, but what is this Real ID? I understand that it's for traveling purposes, but also for access to federal buildings.
It is, and just a really quick background on Real ID, how we got to this point. Right after September 11th took place, there were a lot of people who looked and said, we need to make some upgrades to our driver license system. We want it to be more secure. We want to make sure that people getting on airplanes are who we know are getting on airplanes. And so there was this push to make driver's license much more secure. The flip side of that, there was some concern that one, by doing that, it does make it safer, but it will make the lines at the driver's license, the DMV, much longer because there's a lot more that you have to do. You have to take actual birth certificates in when you update your information. And there was concern about how much information do we want to be giving to the federal government. So you had this debate back and forth between different people, different politicians, and both had valid concerns. And so Pennsylvania sort of got wrapped up in the middle of this, that the federal government came along and said, you have to have Real ID compliant driver's license. Pennsylvania said, hold on, not so fast, because we're concerned about the lines, we're concerned about Big Brother. And so you had this sort of back and forth. What is taking place now is the resolution that they came to. Right now, Pennsylvania is in an extension period that you don't have to have a Real ID driver's license yet. We do have an extension from the federal government, and they're going to make it voluntary. So if you want to if you have concerns about the line's too long, or you have concerns about Big Brother, it's voluntary. But the federal government does say that to get on an airplane, you have to have a driver's license that is Real ID compliant. There's a lot of extra steps you have to go through with that. One of the things that we're finding right now is that a lot of people are getting a new driver's license, looking at it and seeing that it doesn't look like the old driver's license, and thinking, oh, this must be a Real ID compliant driver's license. If you have a Pennsylvania driver's license right now, you don't have a Real ID compliant driver's license because that has not been implemented yet. So what will take place is we're in an extension time period. We're looking at the end of 2018 as when they can start the whole process. One of the things that people can do right now, though, is you can start getting together your Social Security card, your passport, all of the information, a birth certificate with the raised emblem, a lot of the things that a lot of people didn't have prior to. You might not have your birth certificate in your closet upstairs. You might have to call away for that. Sometimes that will take up to 6 months to get done. And that is why, again, going back, why didn't they want to do this originally? It's those type of things. So it's going to be a big process. People can go into the DMV and either verify that we have all that information on file, which if you got your original driver's license in the last few years, we probably already have it on file. So you can go in and just make sure that we have it, and then you're marked as verified already. Or you can get all that information together. You can get that information, go to the PennDOT website, it'll kind of lay out everything that you need. And you can take that in and have them verify it so that when the time comes in the fall of 2018 that you're not waiting in the lines with everybody else. So that's one of the steps that you can be taking right now.
All right, so good advice, because we're all going to do it eventually, I would think. Most people are going to do it, unless you don't need to travel anywhere or you don't need to go anywhere that requires it. But best to have it.
And what it does is that even if you're traveling from here to, within the United States, if you're going to go down to Florida to Disney World and you're going to get on an airplane, you will have to have a Real ID compliant driver's license. So right now we're in an extension. You don't have to have it now, but eventually you will either have to have that or a passport just even to travel domestically. So it's best to get it. Eventually you will probably want to have it. If you any kind of traveling, if you go into any kind of federal buildings, you have to have that or a passport. A lot of people don't want to carry their passport everywhere, so it's going to be best to get it. So now is the time to go out and start making sure that you have all your paperwork in line, and then in the spring you can take all that paperwork, because if you order your birth certificate now, it may take 6 months, and then in the spring you can go into the DMV and they can verify that everything is on file for you.
All right, I know what I'm going to do. Great advice from James May from PennDOT, hopefully to get you informed about this Real ID.